Hey guys, so I've been thinking today and yesterday about things I'd love to see happen in 2022, specifically related to skincare and makeup, and things I'd love to see skincare brands do in 2022. And I've got a long list of things, but basically it really comes down to transparency. I would love to see brands do something like Good Molecules is doing, just putting the percentage of each ingredient on the label, the percentage of each amount of every ingredient. That would be amazing. So many brands don't want to do this, but had this been happening earlier and with more brands, I think we could have kind of prevented a lot of the sunscreen thing. I mean, if Purito and Claire's and Crave, etc., had to publish the percentage of each amount of filter in their products, we would have a much better understanding of where the actual SPF was really at. Brands won't want to do this because a lot of them don't like to disclose percentages. It's irritating. A lot of them don't like to, or they say it's proprietary. They don't have to disclose it. If you send them an email and ask them, a lot of brands don't want you to know, or it makes it easier for other brands to make a dupe or alternative. But overall, it's better for consumers. And that's the only people I care about are the consumers, because when things go wrong, the only people that suffer are the consumers. So I'd love to see more transparency. The other thing I'd love to see, I would love to see brands replace hyaluronic acid in every product with beta-glucan. It is such a better ingredient. It is more hydrating than hyaluronic acid. It is more soothing. It has additional benefits, and it just works better in products than hyaluronic acid does. I would love to see every product that has hyaluronic acid replaced with beta-glucan. It's just a better ingredient. It's a better formula. It's better for consumers. Hyaluronic acid is just one of those ingredients that, it seems so just bland, but it actually can irritate skin, make skin feel drier, and sometimes cause breakouts just because it ends up sitting on the surface and kind of suffocating skin. So I'd love to see that happen. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it would be amazing. I'd also love to see brands disclose the pH of every product, especially when it comes to things like L-ascorbic acid, exfoliants. It would be really nice for people, customers, to be able to know the pH before they buy something, especially exfoliants. I mean, there's so many exfoliants I've tried and tested the pH, and they're not in the range. So there's not much exfoliation going on there. So if every brand disclosed the pH, we'd know we didn't have to buy it to try it, or we wouldn't have to find somebody to ask. I get a lot of requests every day, can you pH test this, blah, 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 which is fine. But if every brand just put the pH on there, then we'd know, hey, it's a 10% alpha-hydroxy exfoliant with a pH of 6. It's not going to do anything. At least we'd know before we spent the money and tested it, and then either had to return it, and then it's just a waste. So I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to see more streamlined packaging. I mean, things like this, it's ridiculous. I get that there's a refill in here, but overall, this is still just a giant waste. I don't know how many people actually end up repurchasing moisturizers. A lot of people probably try things once and don't ever buy it again. So this just ends up being a waste. So more streamlined packaging, more simple, even just something like that. I mean, I guess I get it. I hate dropper bottles, but it's still much more efficient than something like that. So, or even just a metal squeeze tube would be more efficient, and it would actually protect the ingredients instead of this open jar. I'd love to see that happen, but I guess a lot of people probably still buy stuff based on what the packaging looks like. So they're still consumers, so I get that. I'd love to see all brands become cruelty-free. I don't know when, if this will ever happen, but I'd love to see it sooner rather than later. I'd love to see brands, instead of giving so many free products for review to people through influencer, to influencers that take free products, I'd love to see brands, instead of doing that, just cutting the price on their products, or since I think the next few years are going to get very interesting, maybe just not increase the prices so much. They stop giving away all these free goodies to people. They could cut prices, but that's kind of their marketing campaign. So that probably won't happen, but I think the free products they give to influencers and to just regular customers for reviews, I just think it's not a good thing. It doesn't help customers. Having a review, somebody that loves something because they got it for free, is totally different than somebody spending $50 on something and liking it or not. So I'd love to see something like that change, especially things to influencers, because in the long run, I mean, if any product an influencer gets for free, when you get something for free, you have a different opinion than if you bought it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I'd love to see all brands go fragrance free. Probably something that may never happen, but I'd love to see that. I would love to see products that say that they are mattifying actually be mattifying. I'm trying to think of any product that said it's mattifying that has actually been mattifying. I can't really think of any. My skin is dry, but for the oilier skin people, it's nice to be able to rely on something that says they're mattifying to actually mattify the skin and absorb oil. Most of them just don't. It's just an advertisement. I love for brands to focus on their sunscreens and the efficacy of their sunscreens, and actually knowing that consumers are buying something they rely on for their health, safety, protection, cancer prevention. Focus on that and actually have the SPF match what it says. I would love to see brands do more quality control. Neutrogena in particular, they're a freaking gigantic brand. They're owned by a gigantic company, Johnson & Johnson, which I'm not a huge fan of because they made more Salators. And baby powder, I'm not a huge fan of them. But they're a gigantic billion-dollar company. They could do some quality control testing on this versus some third party having to come in and do it on their own. Especially when there's something like benzene in your products. I mean, come on, do quality control test on 1 out of 1,000,000 batches, maybe whatever. I can't get started on that because now I'm getting all fired up. More quality control, especially in giant companies. I mean, they can afford to do it. I would love for brands to do some research on vitamin C derivatives before they start selling them, because we need some independent research on if these vitamin C derivatives are effective or not. I'm guessing there's tons of vitamin C derivatives. I'm guessing maybe 1 or 2 of them is as good as they say it is, but we don't really know because there's not enough independent testing. So maybe some of the brands that have already made money on these derivatives should do some research themselves. That'd be great. Or SkinCeuticals. Come on. You've done research on everything else. Do some research on this. It'll help everybody in the long run. I would love for brands to try starting to do some type of knockoff control. There's a lot of brands that are using labels, certain stickers, holograph stickers over their products so you know it's legitimate. I think more needs to be done in this area. There's so many people that are doing knockoffs of a lot of brands, and it amazes me when there's companies that are willing to do knockoffs of like a $8 serum, but The Ordinary is a hugely faked brand. I would love to see some type of label or sticker, maybe something used across the entire skincare community. One system where you can take a picture of it and it'll tell you if it's real or not. Something like that. There's a lot of brands, a lot of them coming out of Korea are doing things like this. So I'd love to see more focus on this in the future, because knockoffs are a danger to consumers mainly, but they're also hurt the brand's reputation, the brand's image, and the brand's finances. So in the long run, it would benefit everybody if they did something like this. So I'd love to see that. And I would also love to see, as a whole, kind of a knockdown, a revamping of some of the online sales sites. Amazon has done some things. They still need to do more because people are still getting fake items. Walmart has become a huge one. Walmart website. You really have to be careful if you're a consumer buying anything off Walmart's website, because it is like Amazon circa 10 years ago. You really have to be careful. Walmart it's like the wild, wild west. You can look for, there's one La Roche-Posay product that was hard to get in the US. I was looking for it everywhere. I found it on Walmart's website and was sold by some random little person, which I did some digging before I bought it and found that they were like a lawyer. They were disbarred for some fraudulent activity, and they're selling on Walmart.com skincare products, which may be fake. I don't know. They could be real. But the source of it made it look a little sketchy. And I was a little nervous, and I didn't buy it, thankfully. And I eventually found somewhere overseas to ship to, but still be cautious. But I think Walmart should be enforcing some rules on their website, because it is the wild, wild west. Amazon still needs to do some things. There's a lot of other sites that need to really focus on this, and I think consumers should be aware anytime you're buying things online. There's always a chance for something to come askew, so look for reputable retailers. I would love for brands to put a list of reputable sites where they can buy their product. That would be very helpful. There are some brands that do this. La Roche-Posay has a huge site, a list of where not to buy things, which is always very helpful and interesting. But I would love to make that more publicized, because I bet there's still a lot of people that are getting a lot of fake products. And at best, you're getting water, which is nothing. And at worst, you're getting chemicals, you're getting contaminants, you're getting bad things in there. So knockoffs are a very big danger to skincare, to consumers, and to the brands in the long run. So I've got a lot of ideas, don't I? A lot of good suggestions. So I got a lot of things for all you skincare brands to work on, and maybe do some real research on ceramides, because right now any product that has ceramides in it, I don't get super excited about. If you want to check out my video about ceramides, it's a whole thing. Ceramides aren't really as good as they sound in some skincare products. So I'd love for brands to do some research on that, as well as vitamin C. So I've got a whole laundry list. Start working, and I'll see you in 2 months where you come. Maybe you'll have all this done. All of you. Anyway, I'm good at doling out work, right, cameraman? I'm a very good person at throwing out work for people. Delegation. I'm very good at throwing out work I'm very good at delegating. So I've got a lot of things to delegate to you. If you want feedback, brands, come talk to me and we'll chat. Anyway, okay, I'm interested in from you guys what things you want to see in 2022. So leave a comment. I know there's more that can be done to make things better for consumers and for the brands as a whole. So anyway, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. I'm all fired up now. Okay, time to go for a walk. Okay, bye guys.